It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are live from Villanova, Pennsylvania. My mom is off to the left doing laundry. We just got a knock at the door, and then the doorbell rang. There's nothing like the doorbell ringing. By the way, I mean, I'm not gonna dip into the Sebastian Maniscalco bit, but it really does. Like everybody gets like, holy, if somebody is at the door, it was the exterminator. The exterminator was here. He noticed my West Virginia hat. And he started to talk to me about West Virginia football, 1987. And then he asked my mom if we knew Dan Orlovsky, because apparently the guy does extermination at Dan Orlovsky's house as well. The exterminator was just here. He wasn't like a guy that played linebacker on my high school football team who we called the exterminator. He was really the exterminator. Mom, when's he coming back? Is the exterminator coming back? When is the exterminator coming back? Right now? So the exterminator's coming back. Is he going to be working right there? Oh, in the ground. All right. So maybe the exterminator will want to come on and talk about sports. He's pretty chatty, right, Mom? Oh, my God, is he ever, Mom says. Okay, well. He won't stop. Just get the termites out of here, man. Yeah, apparently we got a termite situation. Oh, it's water. So it's water, not termites. That is a huge break for us over here, right? He's going to treat it anyways. Of course he is. He wants to get paid. All right. So anyways, the exterminator getting to work here outside of Philadelphia in Kansas City. The Big 12 tournament is about to get underway literally in like just a few hours. We're going to talk with Locked On Big 12's Drake Toll about the Big 12 tournament. And also Drake does a real terrific job stirring up a whole lot of stinky poo. Yeah. Take what? I'm not leaving it's too late. It's live. I can't take it off. She's asked if I could remove the part about the exterminator. No. Oh, it just doesn't matter.
We're gonna sell the house. Do you think I want that out there?
No, the good news is people that want to buy the house should know that we've got an issue here and we're taking care of it. We're not selling anybody a lemon, right? All right. Now I'm getting to shut up. It's getting serious. All right, fine. So nothing like getting scolded back at home. Now as I work through my nerves and get back into my sweet spot here. Okay, Drake is coming on. And Drake told he'll stir some shit up, right, on the Big 12 conference level. And he's got a lot of takes, and he has a lot of brilliant thoughts about the Big 12, about expansion. He also has a lot of access to great knowledge. As far as what possible expansion could be for the Big 12, also he has got some great information on I want to ask him about NIL money with schools. Like, who has the most NIL money in the Big 12? Who are the power brokers now? Because, college sports has become sort of like the Wild West. Not sort of, it is. And the programs with the most money right now are the programs that are in the best position to win. And talking to Fran Fraschilla, right? Like, when that Utah job came open, which has now been taken by Alex Jensen, Fran said when the job came available, if I was a coaching candidate anywhere in the country, but specifically for that job in Utah, my first question would be, how much money do you guys have? Like, you can be the best coach of all time. If you don't have money to get yourself players, you're not going to win. And I want to talk to Drake about who has money and who can make moves and who can make big improvements. As we sit here now on the doorstep of the Big 12 tournament. Let me call up the schedule. I just had it. Again, I mentioned it kicks off like in a matter of hours. So first game, 12:30, 11:30 your guys' time. I'm East Coast right now. So Cincinnati and Oklahoma State. Second game, Zach Burke, excellent work, throwing the bracket up back at the home base. So that's how it breaks down today. Cincinnati and Oklahoma tips things off at 11:30 Central Time. Colorado and TCU follows that game. Then in the later games, Arizona State and Kansas State, and then final game in like a loser leaves town match, UCF and Utah. I think they're going to take one of the team's mascots out back and like put them out after that game's over. But the two teams that have, I don't even want to call it a puncher's chance, but if you want to get into important games on the docket early on a Wednesday or Tuesday, TCU, Joey Brackets has them right now at a 2% chance to get in the tournament. Kansas State has like a 1% chance, and then Cincinnati has a 9% chance to get in. So those are teams like you say they have work to do. They got like 24/7, 365, 110% work to do. And it'll be interesting to see what team, if any, can put together a run. I believe that there is an opportunity for Kansas State to make something happen. And if you look at the bracket, that we taking a look at that. Kansas State or Arizona State, the winner of that game will play Baylor tomorrow at 7:00 Central. And the winner of the Baylor-Kansas State game will then advance to play Texas Tech. So it's kind of a family reunion either way if you're Baylor, right? You're going to play probably Jerome Tang and Kansas State. I hate to say it. Arizona State, if they lose tonight to Kansas State, it's possible that's Bobby Hurley's last game as a coach at Arizona State. Even if the team goes and plays in the postseason. There's that tournament now that Fox is holding, by the way, that we can have a whole nother show on, which is called The Crown, which is a tournament where if you get invited, you have to go to play in The Crown, okay? If you're a team. I think they take the top 2 teams that didn't get in, the Exterminator is back to work. The top 2 teams that didn't get in Power 4 conferences, right? Those teams have to go to this thing called The Crown, and they have to go, I think, based on an agreement made between Fox and the NCAA. But again, without like a collective bargaining agreement with like players and universities, like it doesn't mean the players have to play. But we'll see what happens there. That's a super interesting tournament that is probably going to take the place of the NIT. So now if you're into, I know we don't want to get into this right now, especially we're on the cusp of March Madness, but it's kind of like the NCAA tournament, right? Of course. Then you have the Crown. Then you have the NIT. Then you have the CBI. So we're nowhere near done playing basketball. But for Arizona State, because of the portal and when it opens, I think the Saturday before the Final Four, if you're going to want to move on to a different coach other than Bobby Hurley, like the time is probably now to make that move. Let's do some picks for the Big 12 tournament while we're here as we're getting started off. Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and we're going to do picks against the spread, okay? Oklahoma State, 7.5 points, okay? I'm not calling any of these games. I have my only affiliation with this week of basketball is we're doing Inside the 12 on Friday from Kansas City from the tournament. But as for right now, I'm at home in Philadelphia kind of doing the Pete Sousa Show and some other work and helping out Mom, and the Exterminator is literally like 6 feet from me. Hold on. There he is. You guys see him? That's the Exterminator. I wasn't lying. Okay. So Cincinnati and Oklahoma State. By the way, I mean, you got to love like that spread just went from Cincinnati -7.5 to Cincinnati -6.5. So something's happening. Again, I know nothing about lineups or anything. That is a 12:30 Eastern start. I like Cincinnati in that game. Cincinnati's going to cover. They have something to play for. They have talent. You still got Aziz Bendigo. You still got Jizzle James. Ohio State's kind of in free fall, although they could be feisty. But I like Cincinnati. I'd lay the 6.5. And we'll revisit all these picks tomorrow. Colorado and TCU. TCU, a 2.5-point favorite. I love TCU in this game. Unless there's something I don't know going on personnel-wise, I love TCU. I had both these games a bunch this year. I think it comes down to Jamie Dixon being an amazing coach. Tad Boyle's he can coach his ass off as well. But when you look at what Colorado has talent-wise, they just don't have that much. They just don't. And so anything that they do from this point forward is kind of magical for them. Because they just don't have the horses. And I think next year, Tad Boyle's going to take a different approach. Just talking to him this year, he's got 2 guys now that are getting major minutes that, played Division II last year. And although you are able to ascend up the ranks, right, and players get better, so they're able to transfer and go to better schools, but sometimes that's too big of a jump. And we're seeing that now with some of the players for Colorado. So I love TCU in that game. Kansas State and Arizona State. Kansas State, 6.5-point favorite. That's a lot of points. I'm going to say Arizona State No, I'm not going to say that because this is one. Do you guys do this? This is a question. Are you kind of an idiot like me when it comes to picking games? In my heart of hearts, I want to watch that game and be able to root for Bobby Hurley. I want to be able to root for Adam Miller. I want to be able to root for Alston Mason, right? But so in order to do that, I would have to pick Arizona State. But I'm going to take my heart out of it. I'm going to take my enlarged heart and put it on the table and use my brain for once. Kansas State's going to win that basketball game, and they're going to win it by 15 points. So there you have it. In real time, I'm working through all this stuff, okay? So I like Kansas State. Lay the 6.5. And final game of the night, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, Utah, a 2.5-point favorite against UCF. Take UCF, and here's why. UCF, I called their game Saturday against West Virginia, okay? They have Kashawn Hall, who's coming off a so-so game against West Virginia, and he's bound to go off. He's the top scorer in all of the Big 12. And then Darius Johnson, the guy is on a mission to close out his college career in style, and I can tell you from watching him on Saturday night, like that mission is not over yet. I expect big things from him today or tonight. I don't expect big things from UCF or, them to have some kind of outburst, but I do believe that they cover that 2.5. A bunch of ugly games today, but a lot of fun. It's underway. It started. Okay. And with the celebration, you got to bring in Drake Toll. So we're going to take a break. Locked On Baylor's Drake Toll is about to join us. We're going to talk about the Big 12 tournament. I have a lot of questions for Drake as far as the future of the Big 12 conference, right? Like, where are we going? And I want to know who's got the most dough. Drake's going to tell us who's got the most dough in the Big 12 to make the most moves. So we're going to step aside here. Look, the exterminator is gone for right now. That's my niece, Lily. But if the exterminator comes back, we'll let you know. All he wants to do is talk West Virginia. The exterminator asked me if I knew who Major Harris was. I do know who Major Harris is. I'm that old. He was the quarterback for West Virginia when they went to the Fiesta Bowl and lost to Notre Dame. He also asked me about Bob Huggins. I didn't want to tell him that Bob Huggins wasn't the coach there anymore, but he said that Bob Huggins is no nonsense. By the way, quick story about fans, and I love fans. I am a fan. I'm a diehard fan. I left Pittsburgh and flew into Philadelphia on Sunday after the game. West Virginia is going to make the NCAA tournament, right? But a guy noticed I had a hanging bag and I had a West Virginia team store bag. That's where I bought this hat. So the guy looks at me. He goes, "Oh, you were at the game last night?" Well, I'll go, "Yeah, I was at the game." He goes, "Yeah, West Virginia, they suck." I was like, "Well, hey, they've exceeded expectations. They're going to the tournament." The guy goes, "No, they're not." So now I'm shocked. I'm like, Yeah, they're going to go to the tournament. He goes, no, they're not. They're not going to make it. So now am I supposed to be like, hey, let me tell you, like, I actually called the game last night. I work with people who say like there's no way they won't make it after winning last night. They actually have like an 87% chance. No, I didn't want to tell this guy. Like it is what it is, right? These are fans. I'm not going to roll around in the mud with the fan on a national rent-a-car bus. But yeah, it's amazing. Like, so next time somebody goes after you on Twitter and you're wondering like, oh man, like this is hurting my feelings. Like, just remember, he's probably the guy on the national bus. He doesn't know, but he cares. And we love that he cares. Drake Toll coming up on the other side of the break. Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovaceks live on the road from Villanova, PA.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge. Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Visit blogify.ai today for a free 3-day trial. That's Blogify, BLOGIFY.ai today.
And now, back to our show.
The Pete Sousa Show with the legend, Drake Toll. Bang, bang. Drake, man. So, by the way, you got back from, I guess you're in Savannah now, right?
Yeah, so I just bought a house in Savannah. So, I mean, I'm home. I was in Lubbock this weekend.
Okay.
I think I was the only thing in Lubbock this weekend. There's not much happening. I called Chris Level, who does a spectacular job with their radio color. I was like, man, what is there to do this weekend? He was like, shoot, man, I got bad news for you. This is Lubbock. Welcome to the show.
So Texas Tech was in Tempe for their game.
Right.
And,
so it was just me.
But you know what you can do in Lubbock? You just kind of stand. Wherever you are, you're just kind of, that's doing it. You can stand over here. You can stand over there.
I think I was the tallest building in Lubbock this weekend. I felt like I was towering over the city of Lubbock this weekend, but I'm back in Savannah now. The Bananas are playing a first ever NFL stadium of Banana Ball this Saturday.
Raymond James.
We're going to Ray J this weekend, no doubt.
And it's sold out.
Sold out immediately, like surplus of people who cannot get tickets to this game and are pretty disappointed by that. So it's sold out. Hellberg Barbecue is back. Like, everything's good right now. This is the perfect time to be alive. March Madness is here. I'm on the Pete Sousa Show. This is what people dream of.
Big 12 tournament kicking off today. We are with Drake Toll, obviously the host, the straw that stirs the Locked On Big 12 drink, and also the maestro. If you want to know what a maestro is and you're not sure, go see Drake work with the Savannah Bananas. That is a maestro right there.
Yeah, something like that, Pete. Maestro's maybe the right word. I think I need one of those. I need baton, whatever the maestros use.
All right, Big 12 tournament starts today, literally in a matter of hours. What teams do you think? I mean, it's almost like a fool's errand to ask you this question. Anybody playing today that has the ability to make any kind of run to get into the tournament?
I still believe in Cincinnati. They've shown us over the course of still a disappointing non-conference and a fairly disappointing conference slate as well that they have potential. I mean, every Big 12 team has gotten some kind of marquee win. Oklahoma State has double-digit wins at home this year. Even Colorado has a win against Baylor, or a win against TCU. And those TCU Horned Frogs who need to win to convince the nation that they deserve a tournament spot, or Kansas State, who likely has to win the Big 12 tournament, Arizona State, whose head coach is fighting for his job, and then UCF and Utah, who both sit certainly on the outside looking in. Everyone needs to win that is playing today in this Big 12 tournament. That's not the case for other schools that have already solidified their spot in March, need to rest, need to get healthy, but it only helps the Big 12 if from here on out, Cincinnati goes on a run, TCU goes on a run, UCF goes on a run, because those are the schools that are not going to March unless they win in Kansas City throughout the duration of this week. And if you're this conference and you want double-digit teams, 9, 10 teams in March, that's what's going to happen.
So that's a great point with UCF and Kansas State, like a magical run. Same with Cincinnati. If Arizona State loses today, is Bobby Hurley out of a job?
I think he has to be. And you know, we hung on to that name for a long time. I've asked a couple of Arizona State sources, if his name was not Bobby Hurley, is he still the head coach there? And by and large, the answer is no. But you brought in a guy who was a legend, whose last name is legendary, whose brother is winning national championships, but he's not his brother. And I don't think that his coaching days should be over. I think about Bryce Drew, who goes to Vanderbilt, unfair shake, has some time to work things out, and then bam, they drop the hammer on him, goes to Grand Canyon, immediately wins the mid-major level. Shaka Smart goes to Marquette, goes to the Big East, leaves the bright lights of Texas, and starts winning again. I think Bobby Hurley can be in that category, but right now it's just not going to work at Arizona State. When we look at the SEC in football, you're a brand new head coach trying to revive, let's say, the Arkansas Razorbacks or the Mississippi State Bulldogs. That's an impossible conference to do that. It's an impossible conference to build a program in. That's what the Big 12 is in basketball. If you want to walk in as a head coach and rebuild a program, this conference is very hard to do that. Bobby Hurley is not the guy right now.
All right, so I want to talk to you about NIL. You have a great big picture perspective on this conference. And some of the things I want to cover with you today are money and expansion. Who has the most money in the Big 12? You know, talking to Frashilla when the Utah job came open, you know, hey, I wouldn't take that job unless they tell me they've got a lot more money than it looks like they have right now, right? Like, who has the money to what you're saying, or to do what you're saying, to have a turnkey successful run, right? A program you can rebuild without a major overhaul.
As far as money goes, overall, it has to be BYU. And the perspective I want to put it in, imagine if Baylor was the only Baptist college in the country. Imagine if Notre Dame was the only Catholic college in the country, and they kind of are. They're the flagship of that. BYU is the university for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its members. So from there, a large swath of that very quickly growing faith is pouring money back into its alma mater, or the university that represents their values. Now there's BYU Idaho, BYU Hawaii, but Provo is the center of the universe for the LDS faith. And when it comes to their athletic department they root for, it's BYU. And the biggest member of that is Ryan Smith, who owns the Utah Hockey Club, who owns the Utah Jazz, and doesn't give a dime to the University of Utah Utes, despite his ties to Salt Lake City. Instead, where his father is a professor at BYU, he is doling out money to his alma mater to build a basketball program. They just hired the number one assistant in the NBA to be their head basketball coach, and Kevin Young has done a spectacular job on the back end of year one, I should say, running what looks like an NBA program. He plays 10, 11 guys every night. And I was saying all through January, through half of February, stop, pick your 7, pick your 8, just find your crew, find your rotation. And he knows a lot more about hoops than I do, obviously, because they're the freshest team, the hottest team, arguably in the Big 12 right there with Houston right now. So BYU's pockets, from NIL to really every other portion of their athletic department, especially as football's come along, is the richest school in the Big 12 conference. And as their brand grows, as that faith grows, that gap is only going to widen.
So do you see BYU setting itself up to be a powerhouse, like football and basketball? Because now we're in a world, right, where the NIL is what moves the meter, right? Yeah, and we see with AJ DeBanster, right, going to BYU, like that. I mean, that's the best player in the country, supposedly. So could they be a power football and basketball, like college football playoff Final Fours?
I know we're talking richest right now, but I want to look at a couple of like Houston's NIL valuation. We don't know exact numbers, but it's argued their football program has like $2.5 million for its NIL as a whole. AJ DeBonta is going to make more than that himself to play basketball, which is not the revenue sport that football is at BYU. So that just goes to show how far ahead of everyone else BYU is. And if money equates to being the best athletic department in the country, then BYU can be in that conversation. Now we know Texas A&M, they couldn't do it. They've got more money than they know what to do with, and they still can't win. There are programs like that. You know, Florida State's drop off in the last year. They've got the money to win every year. They still went 2-10. So there's a factor in this where you've got to put together the right coaching staff, the right roster, guys who want to play for you. I'm not saying that BYU should abandon the 2 or 3-star guy from Orem, Utah, who wants to be a BYU Cougar and develops into a great fifth-year player. They should continue to recruit those high school guys and make them great college athletes. However, they now have the capital to go build more out of the transfer portal, to bring in 4- and 5-star guys in both football and basketball. They're at a very, very strong spot.
Any other teams in the Big 12, aside from BYU, that have enough money to make a dramatic change moving forward here in the next few years with this change in the landscape?
Yeah, it's Texas Tech. Texas Tech has to be right up there with BYU for me. And I'm sure UCF will catch on. Houston, what the struggle is for me, Houston, even Colorado right now, who has an excess of income because of Deion Sanders, they're recovering from the last few years of losing football. And when your football team is lost consistently, or even lost in the last few seasons, you're making the move up like Houston or UCF or Cincinnati did, you've got to make up for a decade plus where Baylor or TCU have made that Power 5 money. Now those schools are coming into their own. They're going to struggle, but Texas Tech is not. I mean, even Oklahoma State, as much as they would love for T. Boone Pickens to rise out of the grave and give back some money, these schools who have been there are going to be okay. The reason I bring up Texas Tech, the Matador Club, is maybe the best NIL collective itself in the entire Big 12. And they just opened a $245 million football facility too. So the facility arms race, they're right there. The Matador Club, they're right there. And I can tell you, I confidently tell you, you offer a kid $500,000, but we have a cool new hot tub and a podcast room, and another university offers him $2.5 million. That's a very different story. Kids are going to start betting on themselves, caring for themselves in the NIL era of college football. So if you're Texas Tech and you can not only offer a brand new hot tub and a podcast room, but also $2 million in NIL, that's where the Red Raiders are going to start to win.
Just as an aside to what you said, that's great insight, by the way, about, betting on yourself, but also the finances are there. Yeah. Tad Boyle, I flat out asked him last week. I said, is Deion doing anything for you guys, like recruiting wise? And he was just like, no, it really doesn't. It really hasn't moved the meter. And that gives you the idea of just how important money is over identity, over, it's just like, you can have the most exciting, the biggest lightning rod in the country at your school, unless he's making a dedicated effort to make money for a specific program, right? Or if you don't have the money for the alums, it's just not there. Or from the collectives, it's not there. It doesn't matter. Does that make sense?
No doubt. And part of this is the coach himself or herself. Like, think about Kim Mulkey at Baylor. There was a difference between Kim Mulkey and Baylor. I think about Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M. There's a difference in who A&M is as a program and the coach. A lot of these players aren't committing to Duke necessarily. They were committing to play for Coach K. Not committing to Kentucky, they're committed to playing for Coach Calipari. You saw that with his mass exodus of players at university when he left. These kids fall in love with the coaches and the NIL more than they do the universities themselves, especially now more than ever. You think about the majority of the roster at Colorado, large majority. This goes for the same thing at Baylor, Texas Tech. They didn't grow up fans of Texas Tech. They grew up in South Georgia as a fan of the Bulldogs, but their best opportunity to play college ball was at Texas Tech. So that is where they're going. These kids are now committed to Joey McGuire. They're committing to a Kim Mulkey at LSU. They want to play for a coach. So they want to play for Deion Sanders. There's not a basketball player who gets to play for Deion Sanders when he commits to Colorado to play basketball. So that's a huge piece in this.
Hey, who is in the most trouble financially in the Big 12 as far as just a school that might be stuck in the mud because they don't have the resources to move out of the mud?
Again, Houston and Cincinnati come to mind at the very first. The problem for those two, Houston's the 7th, 8th biggest show in town because the Astros are there, because the Texans are there, because the Rockets are there. There are so many things to do on a Saturday night in Houston before you go to a Cougars football game. Does that mean that they're buried? No, but it's going to take a lot more to get out. Cincinnati, you have the Reds, you have the Bengals. So less people are concerned with college football there than they are the NFL. And we already know that's a tough product to compete with. Those two schools are at odds because many of their donors are sending money to the Astros first. They're buying a booth and going to see the Rockets play every weekend first before they're giving to the university itself. And then as far as these long-term tenured members of the Big 12 go, Iowa State, Jamie Pollard, their athletic director, has been very vocal about struggles with money in that university. He tweeted this out, I guess, yesterday, talking about how Arizona State will now bring in its athletic department as a part of the university, treating them as a college within the Arizona State brand. And Pollard said, I wish we could do that. It's another $50 million we can make from our university. He has now put on hold projects at Hilton Coliseum, and they have stalled a wrestling facility that was going to be built on campus, saying that he cannot move forward with those projects with the new revenue sharing model in college football. So Iowa State has been the most vocal about needing help with money because they just don't have enough right now to support what is going to be asked of this $22 million revenue sharing model that's coming soon.
Well, a lot of the money is, dependent on conferences and realignment and where we're going. That's why I talk to you, and this is no BS. That's why I listen to Locked On Baylor. Like, you do a great job of diving into the stuff that I just don't have the bandwidth for. Yeah. I mean, I really don't. I mean, like, I'm not as bright as you. You're younger than me. You hustle a little more. Like, you do a wonderful job of breaking this down on your show. Expansion, dude. Where are we going? Specifically with the Big 12, because it's sort of like, I'm a forward-thinking dude, but I also I'm sitting here in the shadows of Villanova University where I grew up, right? I mean, like, that program, the Big East, has just changed so much over the last 4 or 5 years. ACC people. I mean, like, what is the ACC now? So where are we going with these conferences and with the expansion and realignment? What's the next move that you see happening?
To say that the ACC is unstable is something that it is objective now. When you consider Stanford and Cal are members of that conference, we forget that a lot. We've kind of assimilated to the idea that Oregon's in the Big Ten. I think a lot of people are used to them on football, so many marquee games. Stanford and Cal weren't on TV very much in the ACC. We haven't wrapped our minds around it in totality. That league is kind of grasping at straws. And with their new money algorithm, this way that they're going to split up revenue based on how big your brand is, that's going to make schools like Louisville, Virginia Tech, NC State a little more upset, knowing that 1 or 2 bad years of football could bury them in the doldrums of the conference. And if they're making $6-7 million less in that year, that only puts you, as you mentioned, in the mud even more. So while Florida State and Clemson and Miami are all going to win here, schools like even North Carolina, who's in the middle of the pack from a viewership standpoint, will not exactly benefit from this new model where the ACC is going to pay you more based on your brand size. So that's the first thing to look at, is the ACC's instability. The second thing I look at is something we talked a lot about in the summer, this last summer. That's basketball. Gonzaga, what they bring to a conference like the Pac-12, and UConn, what they could bring to the Big 12, or San Diego State from basketball to football as well. And I just don't think Brett Yormark, with the instability of the ACC, is ready to take a basketball-only school, because what we know is that football keeps the lights on at the baseball stadium. There's no arguing that. Baseball doesn't make money outside of 3 or 4 universities in this country. It's not something that I'm, touting around. This is a good thing, but football is the bell cow. Yormark knows that. Even if UConn is generating $50 million a year in revenue in basketball, if they go 5 years of bad basketball, 5 years, they are automatically dead weight in your conference. That is understood about Gonzaga. It's understood about UConn. Anyone who makes their bet on basketball. So you look at the ACC, you've got to go there first and see Louisville, who would not be very happy with this new algorithm they've built, to a Virginia Tech, to an NC State. Even Georgia Tech could be a great addition to the Big 12. Brett Yormark says, we're open for business. We're always open for business to make moves that will benefit this conference. Those moves will likely come from the ACC. They won't be Memphis. They won't be USF. I believe Brett Yormark is holding out for the right move to bolster this conference, not add dead weight.
Could this happen over the course of the summer?
Yes. And the reason that it could is now Florida State and Clemson have the power to exit the ACC for a fee that's much less than the $500 million or $700 million people threw out there. Oh, well, they want to leave. They got to pay all this money. Now you can start to expedite that process, given the fee to exit the conference is lower than we expected, sitting around that $175 million mark. Those schools can afford it. And the second they pony up that money to do so, now Louisville says, oh, we can kind of do that too. And from there, if North Carolina or Miami also follow the curtails of Clemson and Florida State, we understand this grant of rights and the TV deal with ESPN, that league has to keep 14 schools. They must keep 14 football schools. If they dip to 13, from there, a lot of their contracts are becoming null and void. That's when phone calls can happen between Louisville and the Big 12. That we saw it with the Pac-12. Once that grant of rights starts to seep those cracks, things start to seep through, it is an avalanche. So watch Florida State, watch Clemson. If they make a move this summer, Miami will do the same. North Carolina will too. And from there, it's mass chaos. But I can confidently say by 2030, when the exit fee is more like $70-ish million or less for those schools at the top of the ACC, something will have to give.
I mean, it's amazing. It's so much to bite off and try to chew on. When you talk about football in the Big 12, there's a loss taking place this offseason, and it's Travis Hunter and it's Shedeur Sanders, and we'll see what happens with Colorado next year. Obviously, the Deion brand is still there. What do you think about the coverage of Shedeur Sanders heading into the draft? The reason I ask is, I'm an ESPN employee, so I'm not looking to begrudge or talk poorly about my employer at all. I do find it interesting that people on other networks or, Todd McShay's reporting on The Ringer about Shedeur Sanders, and maybe having a bad attitude during some of these meetings with teams, right? Mm. And you don't hear it at all from ESPN, really, because we know what Deion's like when, you kind of cross a line with Colorado. Yep. What do you make of all that? All that smoke and, the reporting around Shedeur, and are there reporters maybe holding back? Because when you talk about the draft and it being on ESPN, there's going to be a lot of Travis Hunter, a lot of Shedeur Sanders. You want Deion to be involved. That'll really move the needle. What do you make of all this stuff that's going on right now around Shedeur? Not so much Travis, but Shedeur recently heading up to the draft.
It's a very complicated situation. It's the same reason that, if somebody is a credentialed member of the media at a university, and you'll get this, the last thing you want to do is write an article, an opinion that says X coach should be fired, because then the SID at the university picks up on that and you're blacklisted from ever showing up to an event ever again. So you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. And look, Colorado, Deion Sanders, he feeds a lot of the national media right now, for better or worse. People love controversy. When Deion takes a misstep, people love to pick it up. When Deion does something positive, they love to pick it up because he's such a controversy is the right word. He's a controversial figure in sports. And now his son is getting roped into that. And we see what Bronny James, the whole Stephen A. Smith thing that happened last week. You are the son of a superstar, and the pressure that comes with that means the national media will talk. And many have talked negatively about Shedeur. I just see a confident kid in the same way that Cam Ward's confident, in the same way that Quinn Ewers has said some really confident stuff to the media over the course of the combine. That's what Shedeur Sanders is doing, but he's got the spotlight on him. The target's on his back because his last name is Sanders. His dad is Deion. Shedeur is a very confident quarterback. That's what I want in a program. But every year we hear this about some kid. A couple years ago it was C.J. Stroud. Oh, his IQ's not high enough. Oh, he can't pass this IQ test. Okay, now he's one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. People are, line out the door to watch him play.
Okay, yeah.
Right? That's what we see with Shedeur Sanders, is you're going to find something where the national media wants to write a headline, where somebody wants to write a headline. I think ESPN's done a good job of playing it down the middle with Shedeur, saying, look, he'll be a high draft pick. And we don't know about any of these guys, whether they'll boom or they'll bust. And I don't doubt, knowing the moxie Deion carries, that maybe Shedeur walked into a meeting with the Giants and didn't take it as seriously as he did a meting with somebody else, with the Patriots.
I think it's all calculated. I think it's all 100%. It goes back to, it goes back all the way to John and Jack Elway, right? Yeah. I mean, and then it goes back to the Mannings. This is nothing new. Yeah. So I like how they kind of can position themselves. Do you think Colorado next year will have the same, is this going to be a, when I was younger, it was Florida State didn't recruit, they reloaded. Are we looking now? Is Deion like the next Bobby Bowden, in a sense, where he's going to get the best guys in the country to come play for Colorado year in and year out, that as long as he's there, there's going to be a turnover that includes the best athletes in the country? Or did we have an exceptional year last year because of Shedeur and Travis?
We've got to understand you're replacing a top 3 draft pick and the Heisman Trophy winner. No matter what program you are, that's going to be very hard to do. But Juju Lewis coming in at quarterback, the true freshman, will be a star for them. Caden Salter also coming in creates a massive storyline over the quarterback battle. How does Deion Sanders level this quarterback battle and create competition out of it in this spring. And my favorite part of what Deion did, he didn't go get 50 guys again in the portal. He said, you know what, let's get 20, 25 and have positive attrition. If you leave our program, cool. We'll plug and play. We'll fill the holes where we need it. We don't need massive overhaul. He brought his bags. They were Louis. They won last year. Their defense is going to be good again. And he's hiring NFL caliber assistants in his program as well. The fact that he didn't overload from the portal shows me he feels confident in the longevity of that program, the consistency of that program. And that's a really good sign for a coach. You look at G.J. Kinney, who's at Texas State, who brings in transfers year in and year out. Just kind of what he does. We thought for a while, hey, Deion's going to run an AAU program, revolving door. No, he didn't do that this offseason. He wants to build stability in Boulder. That's a really positive sign.
All right, I'm going to let you out of here with one more thing. This is close to home for you. When we look at the NCAA tournament on the women's side, obviously that's all going to shake out detail-wise next week. But even if you look at the guy Charlie Cream's bracketology right now, there's a possibility that Baylor and LSU could meet in a regional final, right? Both of them are going to play their first couple games at home more than likely. Kim Mulkey, Nikki Collin showing off for a spot in the Final Four. Who you got, Drake?
Give me the Bears, right? You have to. I do believe that the last month of women's basketball at Baylor has not been indicative of what that program's true potential is, yet they've still been winning. To unpack that, Dariana Littlepage Buggs, when she is back, they said she's day-to-day. They're kind of giving her rest. Same reason I think some teams on the men's side and on the women's side did well to lose in the Big 12 tournament. Get rest, bring back your stars, get back in the practice gym, and put together the team that you really want for March when it comes to an injury or freshness standpoint. Baylor's going to do that. If they can come back at 90% strength or 100% strength playing at home in Waco for 2 games, I like their odds. From there, they've got as good a shot as anybody to compete with teams in the top 5, 10 in the country, though I do believe we're all battling for South Carolina, USC, UCLA. Those are the schools that will be in the Final Four and champions this whole thing when it shakes out. Baylor, I'm not sure will be in that conversation, but would love to see them whip up on the LSU Tigers and Kim Mulkey, who displayed her proud billboard in Waco a couple of years ago.
I mean, that's why there's so much there. A lot of meat on the bone for guys like me and you who are familiar with Kim Mulkey and now Nikki Collin, and there's a lot of great stuff going there. All right, so Drake Toll, Locked On Baylor. It's funny. I knew you when you were a rising star. Now you're just a star. So Locked On Baylor, it's the first listen every day for everybody that likes the Big 12 and is passionate about it. And also Savannah Bananas Superstar. When you go to a Savannah Banana game, you're going to see Drake Toll front and center, and he is going to rock the party.
Fur coat, glasses, the whole shebang.
The whole shebang. Anything else, Drake Toll?
It's Pete. Hellberg Barbecue is back. I'm just giddy. It's back, man. I love it. It's always good to talk to you, my friend.
Good to talk to you too, brother. Thanks so much for spending the time today, Drake.
No doubt.
That was Drake Toll, the Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics. Look at Drake. He's still there. We'll be back. We'll get Drake. Next time Drake's in West Texas, he's going to go to Slovacics. And if he gets into an accident, he's going to call Daniel Stark. First one for sure. Second one, we hope not. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics, coming back after this.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internix.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Elevate your experience with Grinco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grinco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrincoScience.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head? One that you play the details of over and over with your friends.
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
Thanks for joining us.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
Always great stuff when we get a chance to talk with Drake Toll. A lot to absorb there. The thing that always, I don't know if it like scares me. I don't know if you guys are like this at all, but it's similar to like AI and expansion is up there with me, and the sort of movement as a society, technically that we're making. Financially that we're making, it's nothing new, but it's new to us. And what I mean is, like, you know, generations before, there are so many changes in society and in sports and in life, you know, as you matriculate, right? And it's not necessarily stuff you're always comfortable with. And like, you know, the alignment of conferences in college basketball and college football specifically is something that you've always been able to count on being stable up until, you know, the past few years. When a team would switch a conference, it was a major deal. Like, you know, I can't tell you how huge of a deal it was when Boston College left the Big East to go to the ACC. This is back in the 90s. It was seismic, the change. And there was resentment, blood, sweat, tears. You know, everybody felt the guy who was the AD of Boston College at the time, Gene DeFilippo, he used to live right down the street from here because he was the AD of Villanova for a while too. He went to Boston College. He moved Boston College into the ACC. Obviously, it was a money thing. And, you know, at the time, it made sense for Boston College, I guess. But it was like a bloodbath. And now it's like another day at the office. You know, teams leaving conferences is nothing new. So like when Drake does these podcasts, Locked on Big 12, and Drake does an amazing job, like I said, stirring the drink and getting people excited for topics. But, you know, there's constantly another fire that he may be pouring gasoline on or maybe putting out on his Locked On Big 12 show, talking about the conferences and their realignment and their additions and their subtractions. And I mean, honestly, if I'm being totally open, which I always am, like there's fear for me around like what I do as a play-by-play guy. It's like, where do I fit in? And I think that's where, I don't care what we say, life is a lot like that, like with a fan base, right? If your whole life is cheering for Louisville, right? Or Cincinnati or NC State, and you, especially like NC State, you have a strong affiliation with the ACC. NC State's a great example. And wow, if something were to happen where you would move conferences, as a fan, that rocks your world. It's like, wait, where do I fit in now? I have a neighbor who goes to North Carolina, and although I can admit that North Carolina may be the more prominent university, certainly more successful with basketball, but if you know anything about rivalries, which you do, but NC State, North Carolina, they hate each other, right? Now who am I going to hate? Like North Carolina, it's just like the rivalries being stripped down. I think people searching for that old school gear, right, that we all love, that college sports delivers, that intensity, those rivalries. It's changing, man. And, we still can enjoy and celebrate them when we have the opportunities, but we also need to be ready to be flexible for changes that are coming. I'm literally saying this. I'm sitting on my hands because the thought of another piece of expansion in the Big 12 over the course of the summer, or any other conference that I ended up, working on or calling games for, it's just a wild deal. So I don't know. That's fresh on my mind after talking to Drake. And sports is the toy department, and nobody likes when the toy department gets ransacked, or there's an overnight robbery when everything gets turned upside down. But ultimately things usually get put back to normal, and we figure it out, and we love and we enjoy sports. I'm looking forward to enjoying today the Big 12 tournament. There is the Bobby Hurley thing is like, that's a bummer, because just like Drake said, like I love Bobby Hurley. I'm a fan as a kid. I'm still a fan. And he likely could be in some trouble if they lose today. I talked to someone really close to the university, someone with the university, not too long ago, maybe a week ago. So it's not like, Florida or Arizona State was, on Skid Row. And as they have been for the latter stages of this basketball season because of injuries and all kinds of other stuff. But he says that Bobby has the full support of people within the university. And that is mostly like fanning the flames by folks around the program, but not folks inside the program. There is a new athletic director who did not hire Bobby Hurley, who may be more inclined to let him go. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But looking forward to a big day of basketball. Thanks to Zach Burke back in the home office. Drake Tollman, we love him. He's the best. And it had been way too long since we got a chance to hang with him a little bit. But that's all for the Pete Sousa Show today on location from Villanova. Go watch the Cam show. That guy's amazing. Cam Stewart. All right, that's it for today. Enjoy the Big 12 tournament. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference, because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. We